told your friend you're not okay? And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way.
Hello, and thank you for joining me for this episode of Storytime with One Big Hoax. I'm your host, Trina Hoax. Today's topic is a heavy one, so let's talk about suicide. Before I continue, let me throw a disclaimer in here. It's crucial that if you or someone you know is experiencing suicidal thoughts, that you reach out for help. Luckily, there is now a shortened number for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, which is available 24/7 in the US. That number is 988. It's free and confidential. Further, I am not a doctor or professional of any sort. Though I have done extensive research and have personal experience with suicide, the opinions expressed here are my own. So let's talk about it. But not candy coated, not softened, not tabooed, not using softened terms like unalived yourself, etc. I want us to return to a time when we could be candid about this topic. Lives depend on it. I cannot express how passionate I am about this. Hopefully, as we proceed, you'll get it and you'll know. You'll just know. However, if you would rather not hear suicide being spoken of so candidly, please close this window now. As to the term died by suicide or took his own life, it is said that these terms are used because they're respectful. I just don't know how I feel about those. It's said that this acknowledges that it was done by the individual, but doesn't cast moral judgment. I assure you, from where I stand, I sense the judgment, no matter how it's said. People judge. I don't care what people think, but that is not true of many people when it comes to suicide. They do fear the judgment. I strongly feel that the only way through or past this is to go back to when we were talking about this more candidly, so that again we can start to overcome the stigma and remove the taboo under which it seems to be sinking once again. So, how do we explain the shift backward with regard to suicide? There are many factors, but I do believe that social media may be partially responsible for the shift back into the shadows. Maybe. I consider that in this day and age that so many people who make online content are so worried about becoming monetized that they will either soften the topic or avoid it altogether. I get that. It's your income, but there has to be a way to get past this, yet it's not that simple. I don't think that content creators are so greedy that this is the only consideration in their decision. We must also consider that people online are concerned about triggering people and that they may believe they are doing them a kindness when they soften the topic because they fear they will trigger people, making them feel uncomfortable, sad, or heartbroken. I get that too. But speaking for myself and some people to whom I have spoken, no amount of softening or avoidance or other changing of the language will save me or us from being triggered. We just are. And the simplest, seemingly insignificant thing can trigger us, like a sunshine, a breeze, a sunset, a song. Everything has the potential to be a trigger, honestly. When suicide is a part of your reality, it just is. No games, no filters. Nothing stops the trigger. Nothing softens the reality. It's suicide. By any other name, it's suicide. No name game in the world is going to make me feel any better about it. My father committed suicide in 2016. He killed himself. Not once have I passed any judgment on him for doing so, but words cannot describe what we all went through. After all, even though we went through it together, we went through it alone. We are individuals who had individual relationships with my dad. Additionally, we all believe different things. We all had our own thoughts on why he did it. Those and so many more factors determine how each of us experienced my dad's suicide. Naturally, I can only speak for myself, just as I have done so far. Even as I write this, now read this, I struggle. So, why do I believe we need to start using the word suicide? Quite simply, it removes the taboo. It makes it less likely that the topic is freely spoken about. According to research conducted via Google, it's crucial to use direct language like suicide in the prevention of suicide. Using euphemisms can be detrimental in the prevention. because using euphemisms can stigmatize the suicide and prevent people from feeling comfortable discussing the topic. So, to reduce the stigma or taboo of the topic, we should do the following. We should use clear, direct, and neutral language when discussing suicide. Use language that conveys empathy and understanding. And remember that avoidance of the topic can perpetuate shame. By doing these things, we promote open communication that can lead to direct conversations about the topic, normalize not only the term suicide, but associated terms like depression, anxiety, and mental illness, and it can reduce the isolation felt by at risk individuals. Finally, this can facilitate access to help, as using euphemisms can hinder online research of the topic. Using euphemisms can cloud the available information, and it is suggested that using clear, direct, and factual language is more effective at reaching at risk individuals. Every era seems to have its series of issues that can or does lead people to suicide. Prior to YouTube, it's reported that suicide rates were decreasing significantly through the 1980s and the 1990s, but then they started to climb. So, why does it matter? It matters because we are losing our loved ones. People we know are losing their loved ones, and that's not okay. Research suggests that in order to address the issue of increasing suicide numbers, we must do several things, including but not limited to increase awareness of suicide risk, promote early detection and treatment of mental health issues, enhance support network and combat social isolation, increase access to mental health services, implement safety plans and crisis intervention, offer compassionate care for older people to address unique challenges of aging, and combat the normalization of depression. Despite what I've said here, I'm in no way suggesting that any social media platforms, in and of themselves, are responsible for increased suicide rates. There is no way that I'm suggesting a direct causal link. Issues like this are more complicated than a simple statement can surmise. The only thing I'm suggesting is a correlationship at best. But certainly, I hope that we can agree that we need to move the topic of suicide back to the foreground by using clear language when we discuss it. Using the word suicide in and of itself does not sensationalize suicide. Rather, it makes it poignant, which it must, at its core, be a good thing with respect to this topic. It has to be talked about, it has to be important. Only then can we return to the levels of suicide prevention we saw in the past, when suicide rates were lower, and maybe we can get them even lower. Thank you so much for joining me today for another episode of Storytime with One Big Hoax. I hope you'll join me again in the future. In the meantime, here's wishing you infinite hugs and kisses. Thanks again. Bye bye.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Got a buildup of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby I have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away. as you feel. I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away.